Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we're going to start creating our very first collection view. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this blank project open. I've created this mastering collection view, a new project. It doesn't have anything in it. So let's go ahead and put some content in it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this view controller, and we're going to wrap this inside a navigation controller. So we have a nav bar at the top, because we're going to be, as a part of the exercise, like during this while we are building this app to learn about collection view, we're going to be adding some buttons for adding and deleting stuff. So so yeah, that's what we're gonna use navigation bar to basically add those buttons. And we're also gonna, when we navigate from one screen to another, we're gonna basically take advantage of navigation controllers automatic rendering of back button, and we're gonna actually be able to freely use that service. So that's why navigation controller is quite useful. So we can call this one maybe home screen. So let's go ahead and see if we can provide a title, home screen, like so. All right, now we are ready. So let's go ahead and run this before we put more content in it, so we can see what do we have. All right, so it's launched, and first time it takes a bit time, but there you go. You have the home screen already, so that's good. Now let's go ahead and press Command Shift L to open Object Library, or alternatively, what you can do is you can press on this button right here to open your Object Library. And what we are looking for is a collection view. So let's go ahead and select the collection view and drop it on your screen. And then I'm going to actually stretch it to cover the entire screen, like so. And then we're going to add some constraints. So constraints we want is 0 points from all sides. Okay. And we're going to add these 4 constraints. Now let's take a look, like some of the properties of collection view. So first of all, if you notice the number of collection items, so this items is basically these cells, reusable cells that we have. So you can increase them, like if you have, let's say, 2 or 3 different variations of cells, then you can increase it to 2 or 3 and design those prototype cells according to those 3 different variations. Now in our case, we really have one, so we're gonna have, like stick to that one. And I'm gonna give this one a reuse identifier as cell. All right, I've just increased its width and height a bit to make it look a little bit bigger. I mean, all those size we're gonna set a little bit later. Let's take a look at other properties. So you have layout. This actually is the layout that actually provides. So by default, you get like flow layout, where if, let's say, you are scrolling vertically, so the scroll direction is related to it. So let's say if you're scrolling vertically, like in this direction, like a table view, then your items are gonna items are gonna flow next to it, and when this space is occupied and collection view cannot fit any other item within the screen, then it's gonna flow into the next one. So that's why it's called flow layout. Now the other option that you have is custom, where you actually create your own custom layout. So this is where you get the opportunity to provide your own class, and we're gonna look at in the advanced section how to create your own custom layout. So we're not gonna talk about it right now. So let's stick to flow layout. Now next thing that you have is basically a scroll direction. So your collection view can go top to bottom. So basically it can go just like table view, like top to bottom, or it can scroll horizontally. That means it can scroll this direction, horizontal direction as well. So we're gonna take a look how those two look when we change the directions. Okay, and Next thing is if you want to provide any section headers, section footers, we're gonna talk about those. We're gonna talk about drag and drop and stuff like that as well. Now scroll view indicators, so we can actually use default style. Now what default style does is basically depending upon you have a darker content, it shows a lighter indicator, and if you have light content, then it shows a darker indicator, so it automatically adjusts that. You can have it to show both horizontal indicator and vertical indicator for scroll view, or you can have showing none. You can enable disable scrolling. You can enable disable paging. So paging means when it's in this particular visible space, when it scrolls up to next set of cells, then it actually scrolls as a page. So all the cells in the next page are going to show up versus a continuous scrolling. So that's what paging means. Direction lock is something you can lock the direction of scroll. Now bounce is basically when you scroll up or down. You might have noticed for photos app and stuff like that, when you scroll up and down, you actually get a bounce where you can stretch UI. You can stretch the UI to a certain level, and then you leave it, and then it actually bounces back into its own place. uh, that effect is basically, that's what this is. So bounce to scroll or bounce to zoom. You can do bounce horizontally and bounce vertically. Then you have delay and touch down. That way you can actually scroll, can cancel scrolls. So basically it allows you to cancel the scrolls for some reason. If you don't want to if you don't want to continue scrolling, you can cancel scrolls. Other than that, there are some pretty basic view related properties. So you can actually set the background, you can set the tint color, opaque, hidden, and stuff like that. Okay, so that's a bit really high level about collection view properties, but we can explore these in a little bit greater detail, in various different videos when we start to utilize these properties. So for now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add an image. So first of all, let's color this background to be like blue color, like that. And I want to drop a label, and what we're gonna do is we can actually put some emojis here. So we're gonna put emojis um, for animals in this case. So let me do horizontal and vertical center on the screen. Let me give this a white font color, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna increase the font size to be like about 100, and we're gonna change the label to have. So if you press Control Command Space on your keyboard, you're gonna launch. You should be able to launch this emoji selection window, and then you can actually select one of these. So I'm gonna choose butterfly, and let's hit enter, and there we go. We have our butterfly showing up there. Okay, so that's our prototype cell. Basically, it's just the cell prototype that we're going to be using, and we don't want to go into a detail of creating our own basically our own cell yet, because we haven't talked about it. What we can do in this case is we can give our label a tag. So let's say there is a tag property that we have right here. So we're going to give this a tag of 100. So basically we can refer this tag, and we can refer this view based on this unique value of tag. Okay, it's not the wrong way, it's not the right way, it's not the preferred, but it's not the preferred way of doing things. I'm just showing you because we are so early on to get started with collection view. I want to show you more than one ways where you can refer the views within your screen. Okay, so that's the reason why we are doing this. Okay, now once we have this ready, what we can do is we can go to our view controller and simply say at ib outlet require collection view UI collection view. Okay, And we're going to go back to our storyboard, select our view controller, select our outlet inspector, and connect this view controller, this collection view, to the collection view. So our IV outlet is connected, and now we are ready to write a bit of code for our collection view. So let me copy some data, and this data has various different emoji animals. It's a mix of everything, C based and some dinosaurs and stuff like that. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to conform to collection views two delegates. So let me create that first, and then I'm going to talk about it. So UI collection view delegate and UI collection view data source. Okay, so delegate actually provides the ability for you to do some actions. So take some actions like should highlight item, you should not highlight item, did highlight item, should unhighlight, should select item at index path, should deselect, and all these actions that you can take basically on the cells, on the collection view cells that are defined under UI collection view delegate. Now, as far as UI collection view data source goes, as the name implies, it's basically a protocol that's responsible for providing data source and information about that data. So like number of items that needs to be displayed within a section, number cell that needs to be displayed for an item at index path, or number of sections there are within that collection view. Now, you have some other properties like view for supplemental element kind and can move item at when you are actually doing drag and drop, move item at a different location, index titles. So it basically returns indexed title to display in the index view. And then you have index path for index title. So there is a different kind of collection that you create, and you provide index path for that. Right. So these are the properties that are defined, or these are the functions that are defined under UI collection view data source. Okay. But most of them are optionals. As you can see, there are optionals right here. The ones that don't have optionals in front of them, for example, number of items in section and cell for index at index path, these two are required. Okay, so that's what the warning is that we are getting here. So what we can do is we simply gonna say yes, please fix this warning for us, and there we go. We get our two of the stubs created for us. So here we're gonna simply say return data.count. So this is our data and the count for that data array, and it's gonna give us like number of items. And for cell for row at index, cell for item at index path, this is where we can actually provide that cell what we need to display in that cell. So we can simply say let cell is equal to collection view dot dequeue with the reusable identifier cell. So this reusable identifier has to be exactly same as the one that you have given right here. So you can simply copy that from here and make sure to copy, not cut, and then paste it here for index path that we have index path. Okay, the index path that was provided to us right here. All right. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say if let label is equal to cell dot view with tag, and we're gonna provide that 100 because we know our view has tag number or ID or number basically as 100. You can say UI label. So if it can find that, if the cell can find that view with this tag ID, then it's gonna assign that as a UI label to this label variable. Okay, so we're simply gonna say label.text is equal to data index path dot item. Okay, and now we're gonna simply return that cell. Okay, with that we are almost ready to run our code. But before we do, we want to make sure that we tell our view controller that for collection view, we are the delegate and we are the data source. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this and take a look. All right. So as you can see, we have our cells showing up, and right now we have set it to horizontal scroll. So that's why you can see, like, all these items being scrolled horizontally. And now if I go back in the main storyboard and change this layout scroll direction to be vertical and rerun this, you're gonna see it from a different layout perspective. So there we go. As you can see, we have this vertical scrolling enabled now. But you may notice that, like, our cells don't really look nice, and we have these two cells and we have this a big space or a big gap in between. So what we're gonna do in the next video, we can actually fix just that and make our cell basically from the program side, or from the code, we can write it so it's not two columns, but we provide how many columns we want to show within that cell. That way we can adjust it from the code. Okay, so this is it for this video. Awesome job creating your first collection view, and I'm gonna see you in next video where we're gonna fix the layout issue and determine how many columns do we need to show per row in a cell. Okay, all right, so I'll see you guys in the next video.